Cleveland Browns, they just thoroughly embarrassed the Cincinnati Bengals. That was an absolute statement game Sunday for Cleveland. So my question to you now is, are the Cleveland Browns moving into playoff form, or are the Bengals just fool's gold?
I got to say it's a matter of both. And, before the season fees, you picked the Cleveland Browns going to the Super Bowl. You believe something in that offense. You trust the running game. You can't necessarily ask Baker to make huge plays and win you a football game. But when you talk about, having playoff ingredients right now, people knew after last year, 11 wins, they're coming in with a lot of expectations. Nick Chubb being able to come back. I know he's going to have a little bit of COVID problems. And I'm not sure. I don't know what's going on with Kareem Hunt. I haven't looked that far into it. But knowing that they have, a top offensive line, knowing that they can run the football effectively, and that defense is absolutely going insane right now. I want to say they're top 10 in all defensive categories. We believe in Kevin Stefanski. But at the end of the day, if Baker can't make something happen with all of these pieces around him, I think you have to start looking at the quarterback position. But we knew, like I said, before the season coming in, they had the pieces to make a run. But now when you talk about the Bengals, and I've been saying it all year, I love the Bengals offense. When their defense gets going, they're one of the best in the league. But who in the hell is Zach Taylor? Who is Zach Taylor as a head coach? And he was on my hot seat coming in this year when you've got Joe Burrow, you've got Jamar Chase, you got an offensive line that you're kind of trying to work with, Joe Mixon in the backfield, and you have a defense that is now trying to acquire pieces season over season, and you're playing in a tough AFC North division. You're eventually going to get exposed at the coaching position. It's kind of like when we talk about with Kyle Shanahan right now. Yeah, he's had really one good year, but you can't continue to lump him into that elite status, And that's the thing with the Bengals. You can't really put them into that super contention status right now. Yeah, could they be a wild card team? Could they go to the divisional? Absolutely. But the question will remain, who is Zach Taylor? We know the Browns are fine. We know the Bengals can score points. We know the Bengals can be competitive, but they're only going to go as far, in my opinion, as their head coach. Look at the Browns before Kevin Stefanski. Absolute trash. Stefanski comes in with a slight tweak in the talent, and the team absolutely takes off. Who is Zach Taylor? That is the question to be asked for the Cincinnati Bengals today.
I think it's a matter of the Cincinnati Bengals really caught teams with their pants down to start this season. People were not prepared for how good the Cincinnati Bengals offense actually came out. And what we have seen after 9 weeks of football, the rest of the NFL has caught up to it, and they've realized that this is the Jamar Chase show.
Yep.
They tried their damnedest to get that ball to him all game. 13 targets, but he only had 6 receptions. They actually handed the ball off to him a couple of times. They figured, hey, he is the catalyst behind their offense. Joe Burrow is playing well because Jamar Chase is doing everything. They start doubling, making sure you limit his touches. If you cut Jamar Chase's production, all of a sudden the Cincinnati Bengals offense doesn't work anymore. And now teams have figured it out. They're going to have an uphill battle the rest of the season after what teams just saw that Cleveland did to them, because that was the Nick Chubb show on offense, which is what Cleveland is based upon. He damn near went for 10 yards a carry. 14 carries for 137 yards, 2 touchdowns. That was just straight up Nick Chubb killing. Baker had a decent game, but he only attempted 21 passes. He was decent, 14 to 21 for 218 and 2 touchdowns, but he didn't do much. But that's one of those games where his stats aren't really indicative, because, we do dump on Baker a lot for not doing much and being a game manager, but they were up 24-10 at the half, 34-10 in the third quarter. It was no longer necessary for him to be throwing a football. So he probably would have had more numbers if Cincinnati could have been competitive in the game. But Cleveland does have a really good defense to go along with a stout running game and very good wide receivers. They're really just they're waiting on Baker to be spectacular, which he doesn't actually have to be. If they can play like this week in and week out, they'll absolutely be there at the end of the year when the playoff picture unfolds.
Yeah, and the Browns are so physical. They're top 5 in both rush yards per game as an offense, and against the run, they're top 5 as well. So they're going to be physical. Quick before we move here, Michael, great comment, man. As long as you can keep Baker under 20 attempts, that's the recipe. 100%, you don't want the ball in his hands. Like Fee said, if it's the Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt show, you'll be absolutely fine.
Oh, absolutely. It's crazy. That's what I used to say about Dak when he first came into the league. Keep him around 20 attempts and get a ball to Zeke, and they'll win. That's completely changed.